The mockery begins. The story opens in the year 2157 aboard the massive alien station called the Ring of Judgment, floating in neutral space between star systems. Representatives from 12 different alien species gather for what they call the Eye Weakness Exhibition, a cruel spectacle where they display the failures of lesser civilizations. Commander Jake Miller and his small diplomatic team stand in chains before the assembled crowd. They are the sole survivors of Earth's first and only attempt at interstellar diplomacy. Their ship was easily captured 3 months ago when they tried to make contact with the galactic community. The alien crowd consists of various powerful species. The tall, blue-skinned Vortons laugh with voices like grinding metal. The insectoid Clixers click their mandibles in amusement. The energy beings called lumens pulse with mocking light patterns. All of them tower over the humans both literally and technologically. Lord Commander Vex, a Vortan leader with scarred skin and glowing red eyes, addresses the crowd. He points at Jake and his team with contempt. "Behold the humans," he announces. They crawl on a single world, fighting each other over scraps. They poison their own air and water. They have barely learned to leave their atmosphere, yet they dare to seek a place among the stars. The crowd roars with laughter as holographic displays show Earth's wars, pollution, and primitive technology. Images of human conflicts flash across the air, soldiers shooting at each other while their planet burns around them. "Look at their weakness," Vex continues. "No energy shields, no faster-than-light weapons, no neural linking technology. They cannot even unite their own species under one rule. What pathetic creatures these humans are." Jake stands tall despite his chains, his jaw clenched. His teammate Lisa keeps her eyes forward, refusing to show fear. The third human, an older scientist named Dr. Ross, studies the alien technology around them with quiet interest. The aliens take turns mocking humanity. They compare humans to various primitive species they have conquered or destroyed. The Clixers buzz about how humans are weaker than the rock eaters of Zeta Prime. The lumens flash patterns that translate to jokes about human intelligence being lower than space algae. "Their ships move slower than our cargo vessels," laughs a Clixer representative. "Their weapons could not pierce our children's practice armor. They offer nothing of value to the galaxy except perhaps entertainment." But Jake notices something the aliens miss. Dr. Ross has been watching everything carefully, his old eyes taking in details of their technology, their ship designs displayed on screens, their casual mentions of star charts and trade routes. The doctor catches Jake's eye and gives the smallest nod. Vex approaches Jake directly. "Tell us, human, what could your pathetic species possibly offer to earn a place in our civilization? What makes you think you deserve to live among your betters?" Jake looks around at the assembled aliens, then speaks clearly. "We offer something you've apparently forgotten," he says. "We offer surprise." The crowd erupts in laughter again. Vex strikes Jake across the face, sending him stumbling. "Surprise? From weaklings who cannot master their own world? You amuse us, human." As the mockery continues, Jake notices movement in the deep space beyond the station's viewports. At first it looks like a distant star growing brighter. Then, he realizes it's moving. Fast. Dr. Ross has seen it too. The old man's eyes widen slightly, but he keeps his expression neutral. Lisa follows their gaze and spots the approaching light. The aliens are too busy enjoying their cruel show to notice. They continue displaying Earth's failures, showing how human technology compares to theirs, like stone tools compared to plasma cannons. "Perhaps we should keep them as pets," suggests a lumen, its light pulsing with amusement. "They might learn tricks if we train them properly." The approaching object grows larger and brighter. Jake can now make out that it's definitely a ship. But unlike anything he's ever seen, it's not using any known form of propulsion, yet it moves faster than should be possible. The hull seems to bend light around it, creating strange visual effects. Vex raises his arms to address the crowd for his final proclamation. "Let the galaxy remember this day," he declares. "Let it be recorded that humanity was judged and found utterly wanting. Their weakness serves as a lesson to all who would challenge the established order." But as he speaks, the mysterious ship draws closer, and Jake allows himself the smallest smile. Because he recognizes something about that vessel that the aliens haven't noticed yet. It's heading straight for them. The unexpected arrival, the mysterious ship decelerates from impossible speeds and comes to a perfect stop just outside the station's defensive perimeter. The massive vessel dwarfs even the largest alien ships docked at the Ring of Judgment. Its hull appears to be made of a material that shifts between solid metal and flowing energy, creating patterns that hurt to look at directly. The first to notice is a young Clixer technician monitoring the station's sensors. His equipment starts screaming warnings about massive energy readings. He calls out in panic, but the other aliens are still focused on their mockery of the humans. When the ship's presence finally registers on the main displays, the laughter dies instantly. Silence falls across the Great Hall as every alien stares at the viewports. The vessel is enormous, easily 10 times the size of the station itself. Strange lights pulse along its surface in mathematical sequences that make the alien computers crash when they try to analyze them. Lord Commander Vex steps back from Jake, his red eyes wide with confusion. What is that?" he whispers. His voice, once so confident and cruel, now trembles with uncertainty. Dr. Ross speaks quietly to Jake. "The hull design, those energy patterns. I've seen theoretical papers about this kind of technology, but it should be impossible to build." The station's communication systems suddenly activate without anyone touching the controls. A voice fills the hall, clearly human, but speaking with an authority that makes the most powerful aliens shrink back. The voice is calm, measured, and utterly without fear. "This is Captain Stone of the Earth vessel Prometheus Rising. You are holding our people prisoner. Release them immediately." Vex recovers some of his composure and steps toward the communication console. "This is Lord Commander Vex of the Galactic Council. You dare threaten this station? Your primitive species has no power here. We could destroy your ship with a single weapons array." "Could you?" comes the reply. "Please, try." The challenge hangs in the air. Vex looks around at his fellow commanders, seeing doubt in their faces. The Clixer representatives are chittering nervously. The lumens pulse with confused light patterns. Everyone stares at the impossible ship floating just beyond their weapons range. A Vortan weapons officer approaches Vex carefully. "Sir," he whispers, "our scanners cannot penetrate their hull. We cannot determine their weapons capability or crew complement. Energy readings are inconsistent with known physics." Jake watches the aliens' confidence crumble. These beings who moments ago were laughing at humanity's weakness now face something they cannot understand or categorize. Their superiority. Complex shatters against the reality of the mysterious vessel. "Where did this ship come from?" demands a Clixer commander. "Our deep space sensors show no approaching vessels. It appeared as if from nowhere." Captain Stone's voice returns, now, with a hint of amusement. "Commander Miller, Dr. Ross, Lieutenant Hayes, are you unharmed?" "We're fine, Captain," Jake calls out, hope rising in his chest. "They've been educating us about our place in the galaxy." "I see. How enlightening for them." The Prometheus Rising begins to move closer to the station. As it approaches, its massive size becomes even more apparent. The station that seemed so imposing to the human prisoners now looks like a child's toy beside this leviathan. Vex frantically activates the station's defensive systems. Energy shields spring to life around the Ring of Judgment. Weapon platforms extend and target the approaching ship. "I warn you, human vessel, we possess firepower beyond your comprehension. Retreat now or face annihilation." "Interesting technology," Captain Stone observes. "Though I notice you're using quantum field generators from about, what would you say, Dr. Ross, 50 years ago by Earth standards?" Dr. Ross studies the alien defensive systems with new eyes, seeing them not as impossibly advanced technology, but as outdated equipment. "At least 50 years, Captain, maybe more. Very inefficient energy conversion ratios." The aliens exchange shocked glances. How can the humans evaluate their technology so casually? These same weapons that have conquered star systems and destroyed entire civilizations are being discussed like museum pieces. A lumen representative pulses urgent light patterns. This cannot be. Our technology surpasses anything in known space. We have conquered hundreds of worlds with these systems. Against civilizations that never learned to fight back properly, Captain Stone replies. Tell me, when was the last time any of you faced an opponent that could match your technology? When did you last encounter true resistance? The question echoes through the hall. The assembled aliens realize they have grown comfortable with their dominance, facing only weaker species for so long that they have forgotten what real challenge looks like. The Prometheus Rising continues its approach, and with each passing moment, the balance of power shifts further away from the aliens who thought themselves masters of the galaxy. The demonstration of Power Lord Commander Vex makes his decision. His pride cannot accept being challenged by what he still believes are primitive humans. All weapons fire at will, he roars. Destroy that ship. The station's massive weapon arrays unleash their full fury. Plasma beams that could melt asteroids lance through space toward the Prometheus Rising. Quantum torpedoes that have shattered moons streak toward their target. Energy disruptors capable of tearing apart molecular bonds pulse with deadly intent. T.O. Barrage would have vaporized any known vessel in seconds. The aliens watch their view screens, expecting to see the human ship torn apart by their overwhelming firepower. Instead, something impossible happens. The weapons simply pass through the Prometheus Rising as if it isn't there. The plasma beams continue into empty space. The torpedoes detonate harmlessly against nothing. The energy disruptors find no target to disrupt. What? How is this possible? Stammers a Clixer technician, his mandibles clicking frantically as he works his controls. Captain Stone's voice returns, now with clear amusement. Phase-shifting technology. We learned it from studying the theoretical work of a species you conquered 300 years ago. The Etherians, I believe you called them. Brilliant scientists. Too bad you destroyed them before learning what they had to teach. Jake watches the alien faces around him shift from confusion to dawning horror. Dr. Ross nods slowly, understanding flooding his features. Captain, they never studied their conquered peoples. They just took resources and moved on. A costly oversight, Stone replies. We, on the other hand, have been very thorough students. The Prometheus Rising suddenly becomes solid again, its hull shimmering back into normal space-time. But now it has moved inside the station's defensive perimeter. The massive ship hovers directly above the main docking bay, casting shadows across the entire facility. Vex stumbles backward, his red eyes wide with fear. This is impossible. No species has ever developed such technology. No single species, Captain Stone corrects. But you see, Lord Commander, while you were busy conquering and destroying civilizations, we were doing something different. We were learning from them. The view screens around the hall suddenly activate, showing images that make the aliens gasp. They see humans working alongside species they recognize. Survivors from worlds the Galactic Council had thought completely destroyed. There are the tall, crystalline Etherians who had mastered energy manipulation. The small, furry tinkers who could build technology from seemingly nothing. The floating seers who understood space-time like no other species. Dozens of civilizations that the Council had written off as extinct. You see, Dr. Ross says quietly to the stunned aliens around him. While you were celebrating your conquests, small groups from each species escaped. They found Earth, and we welcomed them. The images show vast underground cities beneath Earth's surface where humans and refugees work together. Laboratories where human creativity combines with alien knowledge. Shipyards where impossible vessels are being constructed using technologies that no single species could have developed alone. Each species you destroyed, Captain Stone continues, taught us something new before their survivors reached us. The Etherians taught us about energy states and phase manipulation. The Tinkers showed us how to build with quantum materials. The Seers revealed the secrets of faster-than-light travel without engines. A lumen representative pulses with desperate light. This cannot be. We monitored Earth. Your species showed no signs of such advancement. Because we learned the most important lesson of all from our first visitors, Stone replies. We learned how to hide. The Shadowkin taught us that before your forces wiped out their homeworld. Concealment technology that makes our real capabilities invisible to your sensors. Jake looks around at the alien commanders who minutes ago were laughing at human weakness. Now they stand frozen, realizing they have not been fighting one primitive species, but dozens of the galaxy's most brilliant civilizations working in unity. The images continue showing the truth. Earth's surface cities are indeed primitive, just as the aliens observed. But beneath the ground and hidden in space, a vast alliance of survivors has been building something unprecedented in galactic history. A coalition based not on conquest, but on cooperation. Every world you destroyed, Captain Stone says, his voice growing colder. Every species you eliminated, every brilliant mind you silenced. They all found a home with humanity, and they all wanted the same thing. The hall falls silent except for the nervous sounds of frightened aliens. They wanted justice. Vex tries to regain control of the situation. You cannot threaten the Galactic Council. We represent the combined might of 12 species. Our fleets will— Your fleets? Stone interrupts. You mean the ones currently surrounded by ships they cannot see? On the view screens, space around the station suddenly fills with vessels appearing from nowhere. Ships of impossible design, each incorporating technologies from multiple extinct civilizations, decloak in perfect formation around every known Council fleet position. The demonstration is complete. The hunters have become the hunted. The reckoning. The silence in the Great Hall stretches like a taut wire. Alien commanders who have ruled the galaxy for centuries stare at view screens showing their fleets completely surrounded. Ships that were once the terror of 100 worlds now look fragile and outdated against the technological marvels that have appeared around them. Lord Commander Vex's hands shake as he grips his command console. This changes nothing, he says, though his voice lacks conviction. Even if you have superior technology, you are still just refugees and primitives. We are the rightful rulers of— Rightful? Captain Stone's voice cuts through the hall like a blade. Let's discuss what makes rule rightful. The view screens shift to show recorded footage from the aliens' own archives. Burning worlds, fleeing civilians being shot down by Council warships, entire populations being enslaved or exterminated, children crying over the bodies of their parents. Jake watches the alien commanders' faces as they're forced to confront their own actions. Some, like Vex, maintain defiant expressions. Others begin to show signs of discomfort or shame. The melody of Harmony Prime, Stone continues as images show a world of singing crystal beings being shattered by sonic weapons. They created music that could heal psychological trauma. You destroyed them because their pacifism made conquest too easy to resist. A Clixer representative tries to speak up. They were weak. The strong have always ruled the weak. This is the natural order. The natural order. Dr. Ross finally stands, his chains clinking but his voice steady. Let me tell you about the natural order we discovered. When species work together instead of conquering each other, they achieve things that no single civilization could accomplish alone. The screens now show the hidden cities beneath Earth. Etherian phase shift engineers working with human architects to build structures that exist in multiple dimensions. Tinker technology weavers collaborating with human scientists to create materials that shouldn't exist according to known physics. Seer navigators teaching human pilots to fold space-time like origami. This is what cooperation looks like, Stone says. This is what you could have had if you had chosen partnership over domination. Lisa speaks for the first time since their capture. How many civilizations did you destroy that could have contributed to something greater? How many potential allies did you turn into ash because you were too proud to see them as equals? The questions hang in the air like accusations. Several of the alien representatives shift uncomfortably, perhaps realizing for the first time the magnitude of what has been lost to their philosophy of conquest. Vex slams his fist on his console. Enough. You speak of cooperation, but you surround us with warships. You threaten us with superior force. How are you different from us? Because, Stone replies quietly, we're offering you a choice. The statement surprises everyone in the hall, aliens and humans alike. Jake raises his eyebrows, wondering what kind of choice could be offered at this moment. A choice? Vex asks suspiciously. The Galactic Council as it exists today ends here, Stone announces. Your reign of terror is over, but we're not interested in becoming the next set of tyrants. We've learned too much from the species you destroyed to repeat your mistakes. The view screens change again, showing detailed plans for a new kind of galactic civilization. Trade routes that benefit all participants. Research stations where multiple species share knowledge freely. Defense fleets designed to protect rather than conquer. We call it the Stellar Alliance, Stone continues. Every species gets a voice proportional to their contribution, not their military strength. Conflicts are resolved through arbitration, not warfare. Technological advancement is shared for the benefit of all. Dr. Ross nods approvingly. The survivors who reached Earth taught us that diversity makes civilization stronger, not weaker. Competition through cooperation rather than conquest. And if we refuse, Vex asks, though he already seems to know the answer. Then you'll be treated exactly as you treated others, Stone replies. Your worlds will be isolated from galactic civilization. Your technology will be disabled. You'll be left to develop on your own, at your own pace, without the ability to threaten anyone else. Jake watches the alien commanders process this information. It's not extermination. It's exile from the very civilization they've controlled for so long. For beings who have defined themselves through dominance over others, it might be a fate worse than death. A few of the representatives look intrigued by the Alliance proposal. The lumens pulse with thoughtful patterns. Some of the smaller council species exchange meaningful glances, but Vex's expression hardens with desperate fury. Never. We will not bow to primitives and refugees. The council will never. His words are cut off as alarms begin blaring throughout the station. On the screens, they can see council reinforcement fleets arriving, hundreds of ships responding to the emergency beacon. The real test is about to begin. The new dawn, the reinforcement fleets arrive like an avalanche of steel and plasma. Hundreds of council warships drop out of hyperspace, their weapons already charging for battle. The combined might of 12 species fills the void around the Ring of Judgment, ready to crush this unprecedented challenge to their authority. Admiral Keth of the Vorten Deep Fleet broadcasts on all frequencies. Unknown vessels, you are surrounded and vastly outnumbered. Surrender immediately or face total annihilation. Jake watches the view screen showing the massive enemy fleet. Even with their advanced technology, surely the Alliance ships are outnumbered, 50-1. But Captain Stone's voice remains calm and confident. Admiral Keth, Stone responds, you're looking at this situation incorrectly. You're not surrounding us. We're surrounding you. At first, the statement seems like desperate bravado. Then space itself seems to ripple and shift. What the Council fleets thought was empty void suddenly fills with Alliance vessels. Thousands of ships decloak simultaneously, revealing that every Council formation has been infiltrated and surrounded from within. But more shocking than their numbers is what happens next. The Alliance ships don't open fire. Instead, they begin broadcasting. Every communication channel in the galaxy suddenly carries the same signal. Not weapons fire or demands for surrender, but something far more devastating to the Council's power: the truth. Survivors from supposedly extinct civilizations speak directly to their scattered peoples hiding throughout Council space. The crystalline Etherians sing their healing songs to Etherian slaves on mining worlds. Tinker engineers share construction techniques with tinker workers in Council factories. Seer philosophers offer hope to seer prisoners in Council detention centers. What? What are you doing? Vex demands, his voice cracking with panic. Dr. Ross smiles grimly. Something you never understood. We're talking to your people, all of them. Every species in your empire, including your own. The broadcasts show the hidden truth of the Alliance. Not just the refugee civilizations working together, but humans and aliens building a society based on mutual respect rather than domination. They show Vortan scientists working alongside former slaves to cure diseases that have plagued both species. Clicks are artists collaborating with human musicians to create new forms of beauty. Jake realizes what's happening. You're not just defeating their fleets. You're defeating their ideology. Throughout Council space, the broadcast sparks something that has been suppressed for centuries. Hope. On 1,000 worlds, enslaved populations look up at the stars and see ships bearing the symbols of their supposedly extinct cultures. Factory workers realize that their talents could be used for creation rather than just production for their masters. Admiral Keth's voice returns, now desperate. All ships open fire, destroy the broadcasting vessels. But when the Council fleet tries to attack, they discover the same thing Vex learned earlier. Many of the Alliance ships simply phase out of normal spacetime, letting the weapons pass harmlessly through them. Others absorb the energy and redirect it safely into space. Still others use defensive screens that turn the destructive force into harmless light displays. More importantly, many Council ships don't fire at all. Crew members who have heard the broadcasts are refusing orders. Vorton engineers shut down weapon systems rather than attack ships that might carry their long-lost cousins. Clixer pilots abandon their formations to protect broadcasting vessels. Captain. Stone's voice fills the void again. The war is over, Admiral. Not because we destroyed you, but because your own people are choosing something better. On the view screens, Jake watches as Council ships begin powering down their weapons. Some break formation entirely and request permission to approach Alliance vessels. Others broadcast surrender signals or requests for asylum. But the most powerful moment comes when the view screen shows Earth itself. The planet's surface cities are still the same primitive settlements the Council had mocked, but now massive structures rise from beneath the ground and ocean floors. Gleaming spires that reach towards space, filled with the combined knowledge and hope of dozens of civilizations. This is what we built while you were busy conquering, Stone says. Not weapons of destruction, but instruments of creation. Not monuments to our power, but homes for anyone seeking peace. Vex stares at the images, his red eyes dim with defeat. How? He whispers. How did primitives accomplish what we could not? Jake stands as tall as his chains allow. Because we learned the one thing you never did. We learned that strength isn't about how much you can destroy. It's about how much you can build. How many different voices you can bring into harmony. How many former enemies you can turn into friends. Throughout the station, alien commanders remove their weapons and insignia of rank. The age of the Galactic. Council is ending not in fire and destruction, but in the quiet recognition that there was always a better way. Dr. Ross looks around the hall with satisfaction. Welcome to the Stellar Alliance, everyone. Now, shall we begin building something? Worthy of the stars, the end.